Hi Year 2, welcome back to our next geography lesson. This is our last lesson looking at India. But before we start, let's begin with a knowledge quiz. I'm going to read to you our 5 questions and then I want you to pause the video and make a note of your answers. Okay, so step 1. What is the name given to poorly built houses in cities? Question number 2. What is the difference between a bungalow in London and India? Number 3. What are village huts made of in India? Question number 4. When do we use an effigy of Guy Fawkes? Question number 5. Which season do deciduous trees start to lose their leaves? Okay. I now want you to pause the video and answer all 5 questions. When you're ready, press play. Fantastic. Okay, let's go through our answers then. Question number 1. The name that's given to poorly built houses in cities is slums. So let me write that out for you so you can see it here. Slums. I'll spell slums. Question number 2. What is the difference between a bungalow in London and in India? The difference is that in London, a bungalow has 1 floor, and in India, a bungalow is a house that has more than 1 floor, so it can have 2 or 3 floors. Question number 3. What are the village huts made of in India? They are made of bamboo and clay bricks. Okay, so those 2 things, and they're homemade clay bricks. Question number 4. When do we use an effigy of Guy Fawkes? We use it on bonfire nights. So if you remember, we often will have an effigy, which is kind of like a big model of Guy Fawkes, and it will be carried around in a parade on bonfire night. And then number 5, which season do deciduous trees start to lose their leaves? Autumn. Fantastic. Remember, deciduous trees are the trees that lose leaves, and if they're not deciduous, then they are evergreen, which means they keep their leaves all year round. Okay, right. Today, we are learning to explain why a tourist should visit New Delhi. So we're going to understand what reasons attract tourists to New Delhi. So why do they go to New Delhi? And we're going to create a poster with the key information for tourists. So our star words today are India, New Delhi. The capital of India is New Delhi. Tourist and reason. Great. Okay, so tourists are people who travel from their home to visit another place. So we're going to be thinking about 6 different reasons of why New Delhi is an interesting place for a tourist to visit. Now, 3 of these reasons are things that we have covered in our learning already about New Delhi, and we're going to think about 3 more reasons as well. So let's think of our first one here, where New Delhi is and geographical features it has. Now, we learned things about its location, the language that they speak, the money that they have. The capital city is New Delhi. We learned about the Yamuna River and the oceans that surround India and the countries that surround India as well. Now, before we get too tied up on the details now, I need to tell you that we have a big fact sheet with lots and lots of information and details about each of these reasons. Okay, so when we come to make our poster, we can look more at the details, but let's just think big picture right now. Why would it be interesting for a tourist to go to a place where there's a different language, where it's a completely different location to where they live, where there's different money, where there's a different capital city, where there's different rivers and oceans? Have a think. Why would it be interesting for someone to go somewhere that's completely new? Well, maybe it's because they find that kind of thing really interesting and they want to learn about people and cuisines and money and languages that are completely different from their own. Okay, so that's our first reason, is where New Delhi is, so its location and the different geographical features that it has, like the language and the rivers and things like that. Okay, the second one is right here. We're thinking about the climate of New Delhi and how it compared to the UK. Now you might remember that in New Delhi and in India, there are 3 seasons: summer, winter, and the monsoon season, which we've got a picture of here, where it rains straight and there's lots and lots of rain and lots of overflow of water. And here you can see some people playing in the streets where it's actually flooded. And remember as well, summer gets really hot and winter doesn't get very hot. So why would this be interesting for a tourist? Well, particularly if we're coming from England, maybe we want to go somewhere where there's a really hot summer because we want to get to the hot weather. Maybe we want to see something that's very different because we don't have a monsoon season here. So again, that'd be very interesting for a tourist to explore. Here's our third reason, the different modes of transport in New Delhi. Now I'd like you to pause the video and read this list of different transport that we have in New Delhi. Pause the video now. Fantastic. So there's lorries, cars, scooters, bicycles, rickshaws, and walking. And remember as well, public transport is very popular in New Delhi. Now, why is that interesting for a tourist? Well, there are some modes of transport here that we don't have where we're from. So, for example, if we're a tourist from England, from London, we don't have rickshaws here. And so again, it'd be something really interesting to learn about and to explore. Let's look at our next point. Number 4, New Delhi is close to Agra. This is where the Taj Mahal is located. Now, we haven't learnt about this yet. This is our new learning today. Agra is another city in India. So we've got a map here. This is New Delhi, and that's the road that you would take to get to Agra, another city. And this is where the Taj Mahal is located. And this is a picture of the Taj Mahal. Now, the Taj Mahal is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is an incredibly beautiful building. And it has been built really, really carefully and with a lot of detail and with beautiful materials. And it's said to be one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is one of the 7 most amazing things to see in the world. And it's actually made by an emperor many, many years ago for his wife, and it's where they were both buried, and it's got this amazing love story that goes with it. So another reason why a tourist would want to visit New Delhi is that it's not a long way away from seeing one of the 7 wonders of the world. And you can even see the travel time here. I'm just highlighting it. 4 hours and 5 minutes, and that's with some heavy traffic, so it's really not very far at all. Okay, our 5th reason. There are lots of different souvenirs that you can collect in New Delhi. Now, I don't know, Year 2, if you have ever been a tourist yourself and you have travelled somewhere completely different. And so one of the things, if you have done that, that's lovely to do when you're in a new place, is buy some souvenirs. Now, souvenirs are little gifts and things like that, which you can get from the place and bring back home to remind you of the place. Now, here are some pictures of different souvenirs you might get in New Delhi. And whilst we're talking about this, I want you to think, why would this be interesting for a tourist? Why might it be something that they would want to go and get? Now, here you can see some beautiful materials which have been made, some into clothes, into bags. Maybe you would just buy the material itself and you might make something from it when you get back home. Here you can see food. Now, as you know, we've been learning about India and its cuisine in our reading, and you can see the different spices, and we've learned about the chutneys and curries that they make, and people might want to take packets of those home so they can make them at home as well when they get back. And lastly, you can see here the beautiful jewelry from India, which you could get in New Delhi, which again is something which you might not be able to find at home. So why is this interesting for a tourist? Why would they want to go and get it? I'm going to give you a second now just to think about that. One of the biggest reasons is because of how different it would be from things that you would find in your own home. And it might be really nice to collect them and then bring them back to where you live as a reminder of a place that you have visited. Okay, here's our last reason before we start to design our poster. New Delhi's cuisine is delicious. Now, I want you again to be thinking, why is this interesting for a tourist? And let me show you these delicious different curries and breads and rices. And these different foods are made with amazing spices, which are found in India and in the New Delhi kind of region, that northern area of India. And you can see, you might want to pause the video and have a close look at the different foods that you can get. Now, some of these are vegetarian dishes, so they're just using fruits and vegetables and rice and things like that. And some of these are going to be non-vegetarian, so you can see they use chicken and lamb. And again, we learned about that in our reading text. So yes, some fantastic things. Why is that interesting for a tourist? Well, here's a question for you. Do we have this kind of food all the time where we're from? Well, sometimes you definitely might have this at home, but for some people, maybe they don't have it at home. If we think about our school meals, our school lunches, sometimes we have curry, but not very often. So if you're a tourist, you might want to go to a place where you're surrounded by this delicious cuisine from New Delhi, and where you can explore and try lots of different things and different flavors, which would be really, really delicious. Okay, so for our poster, we are going to follow these 4 steps to success, and then we're going to have an amazing poster. First of all, we're going to need a title. Now, remember, with a title, it needs to be underlined. So I'm actually just going to underline the word title there to remind us. The second thing is, just like in our missing poster, we want to have an attention-grabbing question. So what do we need at the end of a question? Tell me in 3, 2, 1. A question mark. We are going to need a question mark at the end of our attention grabbing question. Remember, we can come up with some amazing adjectives and verbs to really make that exciting and attractive to the reader. And number 3, we are going to have 4 different sentences about different reasons to visit New Delhi. So we've looked at 6. We're going to write 4 sentences about 4 different reasons, and then we are going to make some kind of picture. So let me take you over to my example now. Okay, so you should be able to see now my big information sheet with the 6 reasons about why a tourist might be interested in visiting New Delhi. So everything, when it goes into a new bold sentence, that means it's the new reason. Okay, so our step to success says that we want to have 4 different reasons. So I'm going to read each one and decide which 4 I want to write about, and then I can decide my sentence. So where New Delhi is and what geographical features it has, I think that's so important for what a tourist might want to know if they're going to visit a country. So I'm going to highlight that. Now I'm showing you how I can do this on a screen. Of course, if you can print this off when you want to write on it, you can, but if you're working through a screen, then you can highlight or decide from your screen. That's fine. Okay, the next thing is the climate. Now I think if I was a tourist, I would want to go for the hot weather. So for me, I think it's really important that I write about that as well in my poster. So remember, I need 4 different reasons. So far, I've got 2. Different modes of transport in New Delhi. Now that's really interesting. I definitely might want to know about rickshaws and the different kinds of transport you can get, but I think there's other things that I would rather include in my poster, but you might want to talk about transport, so bear that in mind. New Delhi is close to the city of Agra, which is where the Taj Mahal is located. Now again, I think that's really exciting and definitely something that I would want to know of because it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. So I'm going to highlight that. That's my 3rd of 4 reasons. What's going to be my 4th one? I can either decide about there are lots of different souvenirs available in New Delhi, or the fact that there's delicious cuisine in New Delhi. I think I want to write about the delicious cuisine, so I'm going to select that one as well. Now I need to decide what my sentence is going to include, and again I can use the information on this page. So the first reason I want to write about is where it is and its geographical feature. Now the most important bit of information, let me see, India is a country in Asia, the capital city is New Delhi, so it's interesting that New Delhi is the capital city. Where it is, it's north central India, the language, the population, the currency, the Yamuna River. Now, I think the Yamuna River is amazing. I definitely want to include that on my poster. So I'm going to say, out of this reason, I want to include that the capital city of India is New Delhi and that the Yamuna River runs through the city. So those are going to be the 2 things in my sentence about this reason. Let me move on to the second reason now. I've talked about the climate. I could either talk about the monsoon season, or I could talk about the really hot summers, or I could talk about how winters aren't that cold. Now, as I've explained before, I think I would like to know about the really hot summer the most. So I'm going to highlight this point of information in this reason. And so I'm going to talk about in my sentence that there is no rain in the summer and temperatures reach up to 40 or more degrees in the summer. Okay. Let's see, the next reason I said was New Delhi is close to the city of Agra, which is where the Taj Mahal is. Now, what I think is particularly amazing about that is that the Taj Mahal is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now, if you want to add more information to your poster as we go along, you definitely can. But for my sentence, I'm going to model just writing 1 sentence per reason. And this is the sentence I'm going to write about. And the last reason I chose was the delicious cuisine. And I want to talk about the fact that you can eat with your fingers and that there are curries with lots of different spices. So I'm going to talk about the fact that there are curries with lots of different spices, which you can eat with your fingers. Fantastic. Now I've got all the information that I want to put into my poster. Now I can design it. Fantastic. Now, to help me begin, I've got my steps to success along the side. Step 1 is a title. Now, for my title, I want to describe the city, New Delhi. So I want to say the amazing New Delhi. I could use a different adjective like the wonderful or the magical New Delhi. I wonder what you would choose, but I'm going to say the amazing New Delhi. Capital letters for if my title is less than 5 words, and I'm going to have a capital letter for it. The amazing New. I'm going to go underneath so it's all really central. Delhi. It's a tricky spelling, Delhi, so you might want to make sure you can copy it. And I'm going to underline it with a ruler. Good. Good. That is my first step complete, so I can give that a nice tick. The second thing is to have an attention-grabbing question. This is when you can say something like, have you heard of the incredible city, New Delhi? Or have you heard any information? Or are you looking for information? Or are you eager to find out? Or are you seeking a place to go and travel? Remember, the purpose of this poster is to give tourists reasons to visit the amazing New Delhi. So I'm going to say, are you eager to travel to a different place? Are you eager to travel to a different place? That's going to really grab their attention, particularly because I'm saying you. Are you eager? Being really careful with my presentation in my poster as well. Are you eager to travel to a different place? And my questions always end with a question mark. Now that's both 2 steps completed. Now I want them to write 4 sentences about different reasons to visit New Delhi, and this is when I can use the information from my sheet. So the first reason I said is I want to write about how New Delhi is the capital city of India, and the Yamuna River flows through the city. So I'm going to write those 2 bits of information. Now this is when you can get creative and decide how you want to present these facts. Now you might want to do it in bullet points. You might want to have little pictures next to in between each sentence that you write. Personally, I'm going to just do a little star by each new sentence because it's like a star fun fact. So I'm going to do my first sentence now about where New Delhi is and the geographical features. So, New Delhi is the capital city of India. New Delhi the capital capital city. Now I'm not going to leave a line with these just because I have space on my whole page. New Delhi is the capital city of India. Capital letter for India. Full stop. I'm still writing in full sentences. And I'm going to say as well, the Yamuna River runs through the city. So if you wanted to stick to having that one sentence for your reason, you can, but I'm going to add on to it and say the Yamuna River. Now again, capital Y for Yamuna. River. Flows through it. Oh. If I make a mistake, it's okay. I can just put a line through it and start afterwards. Through it. Okay. That's my first sentence, or 2 sentences, my first reason. I still need to have 3 more because my step is 4 sentences. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the climate in New Delhi. And I want to talk about how temperatures reach up to 40 degrees or more. So I'm going to have my next star. And I'm going to say in the summer, because I want to describe which season it's in. In the summer, temperatures rise up to 40 degrees or more. Capital letter in the summer, temperatures. Now I'm really trying to grab a tourist's attention here, so I might want to say a different word instead of rise. I might want to say they soar or they fly high. So in the summer, temperatures soar. Another word for going really high. Above 40 degrees. Fantastic, that's my second sentence. I just have 2 more to go. The next point I want to write about is how close it is to the city of Agra, where the Taj Mahal is, and it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. So I also know that it's only 4 hours away, so I might want to say New Delhi is only 4 hours away from the Taj Mahal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. New Delhi is only 4 hours away. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake, but I didn't have space to carry on there, so I'm just beginning down on the next line below it. And it's okay just to put a little line from it, it doesn't matter. Hours away from, I'm going to say from the Taj Mahal, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. From the capital letter for the name, Taj Mahal. If you need the spelling, you can have a look in our lesson from before, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Full stop. Now, okay, so now I'm on my 4th reason, which is in New Delhi there are curries with lots of different spices that you can have with you can eat with your fingers. So capital letter, these are full sentences. In New Delhi, capital letters when I'm writing the name of the city. In New Delhi there are lots of different curries which you can eat with your fingers. Which sounds really fun. Being really careful with my handwriting. Always beginning on the line. I might even want to use an exclamation mark there because I think that's a really exciting point. So you should be able to see now I've got my full poster. I've got my title at the top, so let me just double check with my steps to success. I've got my attention grabbing question, so I've got those 2 ticked off, and then I've got my 4 sentences about different reasons to visit New Delhi. So I can read those back and just really make sure that they make sense. And then lastly, I'm going to want to use a picture. So when I'm coming to do my 4th step here of doing a picture, I want to think about what in my poster I have that I might want to do an image of. So I might want to do a picture of, make that sure that's nice and straight for you, the Yamuna River, that which flows through the city. I might want to do a picture of a really sunny day. I might want to do a picture of the Taj Mahal being one of the 7 wonders of the world. I might want to do a picture of the curries that you can eat with your fingers. There are so many different things that I could decide. Now, as you can see on my poster, I've run out of space, so I will have to go onto a new page. And you could either go on a new page if you run out of space, or you can do it on the same page. So I think for mine, again, this is going to be different because you're hopefully going to be choosing the reasons that you want to do. But I want to do a picture of a really sunny day in India. So to begin that, I'm just going to make it nice and easy for myself so I know where I'm going to draw, and I'm going to draw a box. So again, I'm using a ruler, really easy to draw this outline. Then I know the space I have for my drawing. And I should be using a pencil just so that you can see on the camera here. I'm going to continue to use my black pen, but always when we're drawing, let's use our pencil so that we can rub out if we need to. But I would like to draw the nice sun in the sky because it gets up to 40 degrees. And what else is going to be on a sunny day? I think you might want to be around the river. So I'm going to draw the river flowing by, and then I'm going to have my land here, and I'm going to draw someone standing by the river, maybe doing different things. There's a couple of different people. Maybe someone has a bucket and spade, because there are little beaches around there. Maybe in the distance I want to draw the little huts where they might be selling souvenirs. And maybe very far in the distance I can draw the Taj Mahal, which has this really beautiful shapes of a building there. And that's all the way away. Now, I don't have the colours, but if you do, then I'd really encourage you to get creative when you're doing your pictures, and do whatever you feel very inspired by for the different reasons of why you might want to be a tourist in New Delhi. We can't wait to see your work, Year 2. Have fun and see you later.